go, that's better.
A lot of noise. What were you doing?
I don't have my microphone on. So yeah, no introduction today. I updated the iOS on my phone, 18.2. Doesn't play videos as it used to, so many apologies for that. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm sure you can hear me now, and also you can also hear...
Can you hear me?
The lovely Louise. We should be all good to go. That's better. Thank you, Amco.
Good.
Yes, it always helps if you turn things on. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you've all had a lovely holiday, a nice break. We've had a nice break, haven't we?
Yes.
Yes.
Well deserved.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you bring the ring?
Yes.
Oh, well done, you remembered.
Yeah.
Good, good. We're going to be talking something about wax, following on from our little bit of a live from the Shedio yesterday afternoon. Lovely and toasty in there, wasn't it? It was really nice, wasn't
warm,
it?
if anything.
But it was really nice in the Shedio. Go back on YouTube and check that out. We're just talking about wax. Anything we need to say, Louise, before we start? What have we been doing? What plans have we got? What's happening? What's occurring?
Well, I've got some questions about my wax actually, which I need to ask you, so we'll come on to that later.
Yes.
What else? There was more.
You haven't done your wax calendar?
Well, I am. The great thing about the Wax Carvers Advent Calendar is you haven't got to do it all in December. You can do, if you want to and you can, great. But I fell behind. But I can. What are you laughing at?
Obviously, you fell behind. You had so much to do, didn't you?
But it's great because I've got the films now and the kits, and I can just go. I can go through the material at my own leisure, really.
Yes. That's really good. We've emptied the gemstone calendar as well, so we got all the gemstones for that. We went away. We had a nice Christmas, a really busy Christmas, and we're back now.
I got food poisoning.
You got food. Oh dear, you got food poisoning from a dodgy pizza bar, I think it was, wasn't it?
I think it was. Sometimes you just know what it was, don't you?
Yeah. Process of elimination. So I'm glad that everyone enjoyed their holidays. You had a piece of equipment for Christmas. You still haven't brought it round.
Yeah, I need to. Well, it's in my study at home.
Yes.
So, yeah, I need to have a little look at that.
Good.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes, no New Year's resolutions.
Oh, Penny's been poorly, I'm sorry. Oh.
Bless. So New Year's resolutions, yeah, we've sort of given up doing New Year's resolutions. We do make a plan, what plan we're going to do for this year, what we're going to develop, personal, business.
We try to be kind of like, you can become like a bit of a practitioner of self-reflection, can't you? And I think we do try and do that just on a general ongoing basis. I mean, that sounds like we're nutters now, doesn't it? We're constantly just...
Well, yes, we are. Louise's mic is off.
Oh.
What have you done, Louise?
I don't think I turned... Oh, batteries. Batteries!
Ah. Thank you. Anyway, self-reflection. That's what happens when you leave batteries in over the holidays, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, you should be able to hear me now. Yeah. Yeah, you can self-reflect anytime, can't you, and make changes, and that's... I mean, it's a good time, though, isn't it, as well, to just think, right,
well, yeah, it's the start.
What do I want to change? What do I want to keep the same? What do I want to do more of? What do I want to do less of? It's
a good time to reflect on the year past and plan for the year going ahead.
Because I always used to say, I'm going to give up wine, I'm going to give up chocolate, I'm going to... And it's great if that's what you want to do, but those things are just going to make me sad. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do anything that makes me sad. I am going to try and be a bit healthier.
We ended the
year. And the
year.
food poisoning has kick-started that to an extent. Because when I go back to Slimmers World now on Wednesday, they're all going to be mega impressed.
Yeah, I think we ended the year pretty good at the healthy eating. I think you know, we've. This is the thing, isn't it? You can reflect upon your own being and your own world itself, but it's when things happen to friends of yours that really do sort of knock you for six.
Yeah.
And you realise how lucky you are and what, I'm not saying what you need to do well, perhaps yes, what you need to do to reflect upon, to perhaps calm down a bit, not work so hard. But basically what I'm going to try and do this year is not be rushing around like a blue-ass fly here and there everywhere, upstairs, downstairs, into the store, getting the tools. I'm going to try and slow down a little bit, not a lot,
This
but
is
just
something
that
I'm
little bit.
really interested in, is working, not necessarily working any less hard, but working smarter. I'd like to be able to know how to be more efficient and work more efficiently and effectively.
Yes.
I'd like to get pretty much most or all of what I get done now, but I know I probably waste a bit of time, but I don't know how to be better at doing that. So I think I'm going to look into that. I don't know if there's
Efficiency at
a
work.
name for that, or if there's but that might be
So
something.
don't work
If anybody
harder,
knows,
work smarter. Well, that's what you need to do.
yeah. But how? How do you do that?
In what way? So I would have thought, for instance, if
Staying
you're-
off my phone, I guess.
Yes, staying off your phone. Don't let the phone interrupt
And
you.
I'm not kind of like wasting time on my phone. I'm just looking at emails when actually I said I was going to focus on this over here, and then suddenly I'm answering emails over there. That's been left half done. Then I'm reading that, and I think I come back to that, and then you're like a little bit of a butterfly trying to do
Everything, yeah.
rather than just focusing. I don't know if anybody knows what that is called. What I'm trying to articulate, I don't know.
But it's like,
Well, I can research, let me
it's
know,
like, Say
please.
you're doing nothing but repairs. As you know, you would get all the right the same carrots together, or going ups together, or going the downs together, or going the pieces in together, and so forth. And you do them in batches that way, so you can organise. So you're not having to do the job, then finish it, polish it, ultrasonic it, put it back in the packet. You do all the jobs, Then you go and polish them all, then you go and package them all up, and then you start another one. So
I'm quite
effectively,
good at that when
you
I'm
can work-
focused.
You can work that way, and you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I must
Like
admit.
today, I've got through quite a few of my jobs just by just being in the zone and just concentrating on that.
Yeah.
Penny says efficiency and effectively are different things. Efficiency is doing things right, and effectively is doing the right things. Yeah,
That's interesting, isn't it?
yeah.
Happy New Year to Mrs. Lloyd. Yes, Claire said a jog to and from the off license. Well, that's a good way of looking at that. When someone said smile, Helena said I decided to smile at everyone I met.
Oh,
That's really nice.
Love
There.
it.
That's really nice.
Lovely.
Perhaps I should try and do that.
I think you should.
Yeah, that's just what I'm going to break on day one, really, isn't it?
No.
Anyway, should we have a
Anyway,
question?
Yes, let's have a question.
All right, then. It is Monday, the 6th of January. This is the start of a brand new year, 2025. Happy New Year to everybody. Let's have our first question then, please, Louise.
Okay, Pat says, could you please recommend a silicone wheel to use to clean up after setting that won't damage the stones?
Okay, so basically a pumice wheel is going to be what you are going to need. Pumice is really low on the Mohs table, and this is what you've got to think about. You mustn't use anything that is, depending on what stone you are using. Pumice wheel is the best thing to use, not necessarily a silicone wheel or an abrasive wheel when it comes to that, because if you're using stones that are softer than the silicone abrasives, the silicone abrasive is going to damage the stone. So it depends upon the stone that you're using. But what you've got to look at is the Mohs table, M-O-H-S. Oh, don't forget, our offer is on for the next couple of days at the bench, £150, holidays 2024. You know the score by now. You've all had emails, it's on Facebook and so forth. So basically,
If you want any info and you haven't had an email or information, then just email me and I'll give you the information.
So Mohs, you've got diamond, goes right down then to number 1, which is talc. Okay, so those are working on the Mohs hardness. So you've got 9 is corundum, and so forth. Okay, Louise will tell you the others. So basically, I think around about 4 is pumice, I do believe. So you can buy pumice wheels, we sell them in the store, you put them on a screw top mandrel. They will either come square or they will come knife edge, like that. perhaps not exactly like that. Then there's your mandrel there, there's your mandrel there. And these are the best things for cleaning up claws and castings if there are stones already set in it, because the pumice is quite low on the Mohs hardness, whereas the majority of other stones are going to be higher up on the Mohs table, with the exception of opals. Yeah, I thought opals. So I thought opals come below, amber will come below, pearls, yeah.
Pearls, definitely.
So if the stones that you are using...
Opal are 5.5 to 6.
Who is?
Opal.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, so opal's
But
got there.
yeah, I suppose it depends on how, yeah.
Yeah. So you have to think about...
Unless it's a doublet or a triplet.
They would have a layer of quartz on the top, which is going to be...
7, so you'll be all right
Yeah,
then.
exactly. So that's what you've got to think of. Pumice wheels. PumiceWheels. Pumice wheels. We sell them in 2 different grades, different grits. One's a little bit coarser, one's a bit finer, and you can use those to clean up settings with stones in. Or if you've done a nice little diamond and you've got some claws coming over the edges here, you can use the pumice wheels to shape those claws into whatever you've got. And in theory, providing the stones are higher upon the Mohs table, you should be able to trim those claws without damaging the stones. Thank you, Louise.
Good. Did you know the Mohs scale is not linear as well?
Correct. So the difference between, I'll let you explain.
Oh, don't make me explain it. The difference between, the relative hardnesses is not the same. It's not incremental, is it?
No.
If that makes sense. So the difference, and I think the biggest, most notable difference is between 9 and 10, so between corundum and diamond. It's not the same difference in hardness as, say, between topaz and corundum, which is 8 to 9, 9 to 10, goes up a lot more.
Yes.
So the hardness between corundum and
like
diamond
10 would be all the way up there,
significantly harder than
8 would be there, so the difference...
the gaps between the hardness differences, if that makes sense.
And then there's a big gap before diamond comes up, so as you say, there's not like one step, it's like one step, perhaps one step, and then
the jumps
8 or 9 or 10 steps.
Jumps aren't equal between the different hardness steps.
Yes. Made by Mr. Mohs in what year?
Oh, I don't know.
1890 something.
Oh, well done, Andrew.
Thank you. And what was his name?
Mohs.
That's his surname. What was his first name?
It's Frederick?
When to?
Was it really? Oh, very funny. It was Frederick, wasn't it?
No, I think it was Frederick, yes.
Hang on, I'm going to check.
I was quite quick, when to. I think when to Mohs.
Yeah, no, I wasn't quick enough.
I'm sure it was Frederick Mohs. 1890 something, was it?
Frederick Mohs, I was correct. Yes. 1812, actually,
1812?
Andrew.
Really?
1812.
I was in the right century.
You were, yeah. So we've had the Mohs scale since 1812. That's interesting, isn't it?
Very good.
Okay.
Guess I'll have another question.
Right. Okay, that was that. Pauline says, what type of solder would you recommend for adding embellishments to a copper pendant, and what thickness of copper for a 30mm circle?
Now, it depends upon how many other soldering operations you've got to do after your embellishments or before your embellishments. If you've got a 30mm stone, thickness copper, I know the Americans work in gauge. In the UK here we don't. So 3/4 of a millimetre, say half, depending on what you want to do. If you've got a back, I must throw that pen away. Done. If you've got a back plate and you're putting a bezel, okay, on that back plate, like that, you can get away with something like 1/2 millimetre. As a pendant, you don't need an awful lot of strength on the back of the bezel. It's a pendant. If you then were putting that upon a ring shank, for instance, yep, so your bezel's up here. Okay, so there's your bezel here. Okay, and you put that on top of a ring shank, because the strength between the ring shank and the back plate needs to be stronger. The thickness of the back plate needs to be thicker on a ring. But we're talking about a pendant. So you could get with something like 1/2 millimetre. Not a problem at all. If you wanted to add embellishments onto here, Are you going to do the embellishments first, or are you going to do the embellishments last? If you've soldered on a bezel, you may have used hard solder to join the bezel. You may have used medium solder to attach the bezel onto the back plate. And now you've left yourself only one grade solder, which is going to be easy solder. And then you can put your embellishments on with easy solder. If you're not using a bezel, or if you're putting your bezel on afterwards, when you put your embellishments on, say little balls, for instance, okay, on a back plate, I don't know how you're going to be doing it or however it's going to be, and that is your first operation, soldering operation, you would use hard on here, and then if you put a bezel on here, whichever way it's going to be, you then would use progressively lower melting point solders. So I cannot answer specifically, but based upon your construction techniques, you should be able to work out which grade of solder to use first, medium, in the middle, or last, which would be an easy solder. What you don't want to do is put easy solder balls and then try and use hard solder to put the bezel on, because the easy is going to melt before the hard. So always start with the highest melting point solder and then working down to easy. You can get away by perhaps soldering all these 4 on with 1 grade solder. You may be able to use 1 grade solder to solder the bezel and the same grade solder to solder that onto the back plate, because once the solder has been heated and then solidified, it takes a little bit more heat, temperature, to melt that previously soldered solder than fresh solder. So sometimes you can get with using hard solder with 2 joints near, because you've done 1 and it's solidified, and then you do the next one, it takes a little bit more to do melt this one than this one, if that makes sense. Yes, Louise.
Yeah, before I forget,
yes,
we are going to be coming up over the next few weeks, probably the next month, because we got Vicenza in the middle of the month, haven't we?
Yes.
A little bit of a schedule for the workshops.
Yes.
For the next probably 6 months or so.
Yeah.
So I had a little idea, but if you guys have got any ideas about what you'd want to see, what you want to learn, whether it's a project, whether it's a technique, or whether it's a, well, just whatever you want to see a workshop on, please just let me know, louise@andrewberry.co.uk. Is the one we talked about the other day a definite?
I think so.
Can I talk about it?
No.
Oh, because they might
Yeah.
be, people might have...
Okay, yeah, go on. Yeah, I'm happy for that. Yeah, absolutely.
Want to see things connected with that. So it's basically, it sounds very, very simple and very straightforward, but it's torque bangles. And there's lots you can
We're not talking about bangles, it's torque.
What's a torque bangle, Andrew?
T-O-R, torque bangle. It is a bangle that is not completely round.
You're on me.
I know, I'm going to put it onto me now.
Yeah, so we know we can texture
Torque.
them because we've done them in previous workshops, so we probably won't go into that too much, texture plates, because we've done quite a bit of that in the past, haven't we?
Yes.
But there's lots of other ways that you can embellish them. There's lots of things that you can do. There are some things you probably can't do. I'd like to know how to attach bezels onto white torque bangles.
Okay, yeah.
And bend them.
Yep.
And what else can you do, basically?
Okay, so we're looking at things like anti-clastic, synclastic.
Yeah, shaping them.
How to shape them.
So
what
anti-clastic
tools
is
we can use. Yep.
That way. No,
Yes.
anti-clastic is that way.
No.
That way or that way?
Anti-plastic. Are you looking that way? Anti-plastic is... Do it? Yeah?
Don't.
No, that's synclastic.
Okay, so anti-clastic is... No, I did it wrong. Anti-clastic is that.
Yes.
So if you've got a bangle that's curved,
Yes.
dished in,
Yep.
so the metal is formed like that.
Yes.
Synclastic is the metal is domed.
Correct.
So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about attaching bezels to torque bangles as well.
Yes.
And basically any other torque bangle dilemmas that you have, please do...
Get in contact.
Yeah, let me know and we can look at it in the workshop, can't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we're looking at things like tools that we can use to make our life easy, whether it be Delrin stakes, the bangle forming die sets from Durston, and so forth, things that you can do in your own workshops to make them. Excellent idea.
Fabulous. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I've got loads of questions. SDT, but I was wondering how you're doing with your wax creation. I know I'm actually, I don't want to say I'm pleased with it because pride comes before a fall, but I'll show you later anyway. Jilly's got her shank bender. Yay,
Hey,
fabulous.
well done, Jilly. Can I have a picture?
Yeah.
Picture, tag us in.
I think,
And just,
I think Gillian did say she was going to do that. Thank
Brilliant,
you.
thank you.
Donald, how to test a piece of wire as to whether it's copper or gold? Vinegar possible or heating to see if it goes brownish? How are you going to find out whether the wire is copper or gold?
Oh, okay.
Can you sniff it?
It's copper does have a smell.
It does
You're
smell
right.
coppery,
Yeah.
doesn't it? You can warm it up, just even if you just warm it in your fingers and
Yep.
and give it a sniff. That's
Another way to do it would be to try and get perhaps some patina that is like perhaps liver sulfur that would react with the copper but not with the gold. There's that way you could do it. Melt it. Cut a little piece off. Start to melt it. The gold will melt before the copper does.
but you'd have to have a piece of copper and a piece of gold then as well
Exactly.
to compare with you.
Yes, just have a bit of copper.
Otherwise, it's meaningless.
You have to have a, what's it called? Yes, so that would be the best way of doing it. You could also use acids as well if you've got
Troy kit.
a Troy testing kit which has a number of 4 different acids in it. Apply the acid onto the surface, see the reaction of the reaction and see the colour of the stain afterwards, and that will tell you. Polish it, or perhaps don't polish it, but do a matte finish on it and see what the colour is. If you have a bit of gold, compare that gold that you know is gold next to that bit you've just done a matte finish. And I say a matte finish is because the colour of a piece of metal is more noticeable if the surface is matte and there's no light reflecting off it. So you have your piece that you've just matte, you've got your bit of gold, compare the two and see what it's like. Yes. Good.
Excellent. Gillian, are there any videos on the Dur Ring Shank 7-piece bender?
I don't think there's anything specifically, but we can put something out there.
I was going to say there are some videos on the Dur website now, but I don't know if they're actually instructional films.
No, I don't
Whether
think
they're
there
just
is, no.
This is the kit and this is what it looks like unboxed type thing.
Well, make a little note and perhaps we'll do a quick one. I'm not quite sure what Shank Benders I've got. I think I've got the ones.
I haven't got my
double
diary up here. It's
There's a bit of paper and pen. So we'll do like a 10-15 minute film on that, I think. That would be quite
will
good.
that be YouTube or?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, you're all hard. Good. Okay. Linda says, has anyone made a ring for arthritis, a type of splint ring? Oh, I've not heard of one of them.
Split ring?
Splint ring
Oh,
for
I've
arthritis.
Never heard of splint.
Have I read that right? Yeah.
Because we got rings from a company called Nomination, and the back overlaps. You can have a simple one, can't you? You can have it so the ring comes along and they overlap, don't they? Like
Yeah.
that. And that would be the back, and then would be the stone, for instance, here. And the rings would overlap. Some of them have sort of the shank is that sort of section, is it, on the one side, and on this side is, how can I draw this? And then that then fits into that, so it all comes together quite seamless. And that would be a way that you could do it. We've done this before. We've also done rings with just gaps in the back, like a torque ring.
You could have the gap in the front, actually, as well. And have you seen the ones with, which don't meet at the front, but there's like a flower and a bee, or I don't know.
Yeah, butterfly and bee, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so it would come that way, wouldn't it, like that?
Oh, a splint ring actually splints the finger. Ah.
Show me them.
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Splint. Ah,
Flower,
like, okay. So does it
butterfly.
keep the joint? Does it keep the fingers straight? What's the intention?
Oh, judging by the look of that, yeah. Arthritis.
Because people, well, we resize a lot of rings, don't we? And we put
Yeah.
pips in rings for our clients because the joints swell, don't they, with arthritis, and
Yes.
it's very difficult to put. Yeah. Does it reduce swelling then? What's the purpose of... That's interesting.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, interesting.
And it just kind of goes over the joint. No.
I never made one. Never made one. So yeah, let us know how it goes. Sounds good.
Good. Okay.
Nice.
Donald says, can you show how to start the Durston Classic torch, please? Lost the instructions and can't get the sequence right to start.
The classic one is one torch I don't have. Let me have a quick look. I got one of the smaller torches. I don't have the classic torch. I'm sure it has a lock on it. So this is one of the smaller micro torches. Here we go. There we go. And it has I think if I can remember right, there's two controls on the top here on the classic torch. I don't know why they call it the classic torch, because there's not much difference between the other. And it has an adjustable gauge here, and this would be the amount of gas that comes out. And I think towards the back is some safety catch that you've got to hold or ignite. I really cannot remember. But what you'd have to do is obviously put the gas in. There's the switch down here for the gas. You have to, in this instance, push the lever, let's have a look, towards the nozzle in this, so that releases the catch, and then you can push it down. There's a little bit of gas coming out of that. There's not much in this at all. There's a little bit of gas coming out, a little bit of flame coming out. So make sure it's on, make sure it puts it on full. Make sure your little indicator here, you can see all the way through. In this instance, we push this forward and then push it down to ignite. I haven't got a classic torch, because the other torches we got, again from Durston, are these torches. And there's a lock here that you simply unlock. You turn the gas on, and then you push, and it lights. If you put the lock on, you can turn this on, the gas will come out, but you cannot ignite it. So I can't really tell you much more than that, unfortunately, Donald. I will contact Candice in Durston, and I'll see if there are any instructions, and I'll forward them on to you by all means. I'll get in contact with her tomorrow. And fine.
Okay.
Good.
Good. Kenneth says, when using charcoal block, new block, which works very well with keeping silver clean, the only problem is when I lift the piece I have just soldered, it tears away part of the charcoal, damaging the surface.
Yeah. All right, so that is due to the flux. What is happening is, you know, flux, when it becomes very, very hot, it becomes molten. And then as soon as it starts to cool down, it solidifies. And what's happening is the flux, you may have some excess flux that is between the piece you've got. So here is your charcoal block, like that. And then your piece is on here, okay, whatever you're soldering. And what is happening is that between the block, which is here, and the piece you've got here, there is flux in between here. So when you heat up the piece with your torch, what you're going to find is that the flux becomes molten, and as soon as you take the flame away, this will solidify, which acts as like a bit of glue between what you're soldering and the charcoal block. So when you pull away the piece, you're pulling away part of the charcoal block because it's all fastened. The idea is to remove the piece from the block whilst the flux is still molten. So pick up the piece, as soon as you've taken the torch off it, pick up the piece. Then the flux will not have time to solidify to attach itself to the block. That would be the way to do it, or use less flux when you come to solder your pieces. Yes, Lou.
Good. Okay. Joan says, will there ever be an Blant workshop this year? If so, when?
I've thought
about it a lot.
About it
Blant is French for all trembly.
All trembly.
And so, can you draw a little diagram of the?
Yes. we talked about it last year, didn't we?
We did.
We talked about it last year.
Because I nagged you for a workshop.
Because we were in Vicenza last year, and there was this gorgeous butterfly.
We saw quite a bit of it in the
stone set. V&A.
What's the V&A? Yeah, there's, if you want to see some lovely examples of Andrew Blant jewellery, there's quite a bit of it there. First used in the 18th and 19th century, and the components sit on springs, and they're generally gem set, aren't they? Diamond set, and they kind of like flutter and catch the light.
They do.
Yeah.
So basically, in a nutshell, brooch, ring, a little bit of a tube, delicate spring, goes into another tube here, which is on the back of perhaps a butterfly, something like that. And because the spring can move, this is going to be on your finger. This is going to be moving around with the action of you moving your finger, or a brooch or a hair slide, something like that. In a nutshell, that's how it is. We're looking at cold connections here, so you cannot solder the spring into the tube because the heat will damage the spring, especially if the spring is steel, which is what it should be. So there's a bit of a cold connection that goes inside the tube, perhaps with a wire that goes through that would fasten itself to perhaps a little hole in the spring to fasten the spring top and bottom.
Developed in Paris.
Was it really?
In 1700s.
And that's why it's called ensemble.
Ensemble.
Very good.
Yeah. So come here for workshop then, Andrew?
I haven't even done one. I haven't even done. And the thing is, you have to then find out where you're going to be able to get these springs from to be able to do it.
So you can't make them out of silver because of the memory.
No, correct. You can't make it out of silver. There's not enough hardness.
So how do the Georgians do it then?
They use steel springs.
Here we are then.
But it's finding the springs that is available to everybody to do. If you can't find a spring that is available to everyone around the world, it's a very limited workshop. That's the way I'm thinking.
Can you make your own spring out of stainless steel?
Not really, no. So you'd have to try and find some source, perhaps I don't know, Amazon or eBay, that you can link people to.
What about like there's going to be some springs already in another application in another industry, isn't there? I don't know whether there's like a clock spring. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Or like some sort of toy that, I don't know, clockwork. Yeah, we just need to maybe have a little think about that. Yeah. Because you don't want to see the spring either, do you? That's the thing.
No. It'll be behind the object. It'd be like one of those, tell you what, you can't use it, it'd be stupid.
Spring out of a pen, Julia, that's genius.
Yeah, it's a pen.
Oh yeah.
Pen. So you've got to buy a pen, just like that. Yes.
There we go. Okay. Is that going to? I'm not sure that's. It might be springy enough with the weight of the metal on it. See.
Yeah. Why did you have to tell Louise that?
Julia, I love it. That's genius. Because you could.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Okay, brilliant. You've got no excuse now, Andrew. Thanks, Julia.
We're going to think about that.
We will think about it. It is something I'm particularly interested in because it doesn't have to be set with diamonds.
Well,
it could just be. No, it could be something as simple as a brooch.
Or a mushroom. A blob.
What does that?
Blob.
Apart from a butterfly. Could be a butterfly, could be a dragonfly. Could make a dragonfly brooch with the wings, which, I don't know, we'll think, won't we? I love it. Okay. Thank you, Joan, for reminding me about that. I'm sure Andrew's grateful too. Donald says, will membership roll over as previous years, but with a higher cost? No. Note your membership fee is your membership fee, so your renewal fee is fixed as long as you have an unbroken membership.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you probably have had an email saying join at the bench, but if you are a member, then
it'll be your automatic renewal.
Yeah, but if you want me to check whether your renewal will automatically renew, just get in touch with me and I can check for you.
Yes.
And if it doesn't renew and you wanted it to renew, we can fix it so that you keep your renewal price.
Yes.
So yeah, don't worry about that because we can always sort something out.
Yes.
Good. Yes, yeah, thank you, Brandy. Yeah, brilliant. Correct. Because they are awesome. Thank you, lovely. Stuart says, I'm looking to upgrade my torch to a propane-based system. Cost being equal, what system Andrew chooses to solder chunky bangles and rings? A Sievert or Smith's little torch?
So a Smith's little torch has to have oxygen and propane. It's a dual gas torch. You can use compressed oxygen in a tank, or you can use what's called an oxycon, which generates oxygen from the air. But you have to have oxygen and propane. If you want to go down the line of a single gas, like a propane torch, the Sievert torch is the way to go if you're here in the UK. Sievert torch is a single, it goes to a tank of propane. It'll last you over a year. You can you still buy like the 9 kilogram tanks that are very, very reasonable. The Sievert torch usually comes with a pencil nozzle. That is ideal if you're using it for very fine work, but you can also then replace the neck and then the nozzle. The Sievert torch comes there, and there's the handle, okay? Then the pencil torch has a very narrow, and it has a neck that comes down, okay? So this is all in one. This is the pencil torch. The advantage is you can undo the nuts down here. You buy a neck that comes up like that, okay? It has threads here, it has the nut down here, and now because you've got this neck, you can add on whatever size burner you want to that is going to be larger than the pencil torch.
Red's or blue propane?
Blue is butane, red is propane. We use a 3941 nozzle, and that screws on here, and it has little cutouts by here. That is ideal for melting down and for doing large, heavy, thick bangles. But anything precise, you need the little pencil nozzle. So if you want to use it for precise work, you have the Sievert handle. It usually comes with the pencil nozzle anyway, but then you need to buy the neck and the burner if you want to do anything bigger and thicker. As I said, blue is propane. You cannot use that. I haven't really tried, to be honest, but you shouldn't really use the propane with butane. Propane burns at a hotter temperature, and it's better for jewellery applications. Yes, Lou?
Good. Iris says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Louise, you used a heart-shaped template yesterday. Can you tell us the brand or share a link? Yes, I have got the Isomars.
Yes.
Isomars jewellery template stencil. We have got one in the store. Let me just, I'll put it in the chat for you now. This wasn't the one I used yesterday, though. The one I used yesterday...
It was Isomars, I think.
It was
Isomars,
Isomars,
yes,
but I don't know which, because it looks like they have different, because the one on the store is the 1889. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing that relates to what's
the design.
The holes and the, yeah. So, where is it?
What?
It's at home.
Yes, it is.
Ah.
But what we have got, down here.
But the one I've just put in the chat.
We haven't really showed you what
Oh,
it is, have I?
That's the one I've just put in the chat.
Nope.
Is it?
Nope.
No, the 1889.
So,
I put in the chat. But it's got hearts on there as well, of all different sizes. But the one I've got has got slightly different shaped hearts.
yes.
But the one I've just put in the chat has got lots of
it's more of a
different
stone
shapes.
one. So these are Isomars templates, jewellery design templates. This one has all the sizes of the hearts, different shaped
Where did
hearts.
they come from? Hang on, because mine is snapped. Because they do snap, but if you're not careful with them, they can snap. I need a new one.
Then we've got, again, stones. Not quite sure what that one is. You can get ones with ovals, you can get ones with stones, you can get all different ones. Isomars, just check out Isomars.
I mean, the one in the store there has got circles, ovals, ellipses. Ellipses?
Yeah.
Pairs.
Yeah.
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 Ooh, it's just given me an idea, actually.
But they are basically stone shapes, as you can see, baguettes. Cool. They are like baguettes, hearts, squares, brilliants, rectangles, and so forth. But Isomars is the brand to go for.
When you've got one of these,
Like
you'll
Isomars.
wonder how you managed without it as well, because once you've got it, you use it more than you think you're going to use it. If that makes sense.
So the one I got here, down the overhead, there we go, there. So that's this one. This is Isomars Gemstone, and this is 2035, and it has squares, square stones, rectangles, fat rectangles, tapered baguettes, short tapered baguettes, long tapered baguettes, hearts, pear shapes, narrow pear shapes, fat hearts, and so forth. And that's 2035.
Do you want this now so we can...
Yeah.
Don't like crush it now on its way over to you. But yeah, this was what I was doing yesterday in the Shedio. It's not finished, so don't judge. So it's got quite a bit more work to do, refining. But I'm really getting into my wax carving at the moment. So I decided I wanted to make a heart-shaped bomb ring. And now that I'm learning more about wax carving, I knew exactly how to do it. Well, I didn't know exactly how to do it. I knew how I could do it roughly, and then I had to research the ins and outs of how to do it. So, like I say, it's not finished. It needs quite a bit of refining. And I think I'd love to cast it in silver and satinize it. Mm-hmm. But the other thing now, I'm thinking you could actually, because I wanted to put some beaded wire in a little kind of like trench around the inside of it, didn't I?
Will that focus?
So that was,
Yes,
that was one thing I wanted to do. I need to hollow out the back because it's just going to be too heavy otherwise. So that's another thing I've got to do after refining. Well, before refining it all. Oh, actually, no, it's probably better doing that last, isn't it? Because that's going to make it more fragile.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking, actually, looking at the stones, I could make that into like a diamond cut heart. I know that's going to be quite challenging for me, but do you know what I mean?
No.
Geometric. So cut facets on it.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe that's another idea for another day. Let's just finish this one first. But I was thinking perhaps, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not explaining it properly. You'll have to explain it because perhaps not everybody speaks Louise.
So instead of that, it's more like that?
So it's got facets on it, so I'd have to find a yeah, I know. But you've got to have a challenge,
especially
haven't you?
on a heart.
Oh, thank you, guys. It's not quite finished. And I can see already now, looking at it from here, there's things I can do to improve it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because you were talking about how to get a nice even dome on the top, wasn't it?
Yes, that was my question.
So
to you, wasn't it?
Let's see.
So basically, let me just put, because I did have on here, this is what I started with. I'm going to put it in the chat because you basically slice up. I'll put it in the chat. You slice up the it's like a stick of wax, isn't it?
Yeah.
You prepare it. You can basically make signet rings. We've got a whole workshop on working with wax, and also the Wax Carvers website. Sandy has got amazing films on all kinds of wax projects, so that would be another really, really good resource. Julia knows what I mean. Yes. Thank you. I'm gonna have a think about that. See if I can do it. So yeah, there's the workshop, which can basically get you to a stage where you've got a signet ring, which you can turn into that then.
Yes.
I've just put it in the chat what you can, what you need basically to,
absolutely.
yeah. Sorry, go on. You can carry on.
No, what you were trying was you got the heart shape here, and from the side, the ring comes down, doesn't it, like that?
Yeah, that's not brilliant the way I've done it. I think I was getting a bit tired, and perhaps I should have left it.
So what you want to do is to make sure is that the heart has a nice dome, like that, isn't it? A nice even dome.
Yeah.
So
I wanted it to look nice and juicy, nice and plump.
So what I was trying to explain was you could come at it and just try and file it, but then you've got no lines to file to. So what I suggested you do is get a pair of dividers, and put one leg on the outside and scribe a light line evenly all the way around, like that.
My only problem there that I encountered was that it scribed a line.
Because you're pressing too hard on the other side.
On the other side, which I didn't want it to do.
Then gently run it along, yeah? And then you do the same here.
And then when I scribed the line on the other axis.
And then you scribe the line, yes.
And then it put another one on the blooming top.
Yeah,
and then I was just like, oh, I can't see the wood for the trees now.
Okay, so then you do these, yeah? So that distance there, you scribe the line, so there's the line there. You scribe the same line down here. Then you scribe another line in from here, and you scribe that line. So these lines here are not relatable to this. The problem
this is where I got confused.
The problem you've got, if you have a dome, yeah, and you want to scribe a line across the dome here, you can't rest your dividers anywhere on a curved surface that's really going to get you a nice even line. So what I suggested that you did was you scribe the lines, so now you've got reference points to file to. So the first thing that I said to you to do is to file off that, didn't I? That. You can file to this line, and then you can file to this line, which would be this line. So you take this edge off at an angle like that. Now, if you did that originally and you want to put another line, this line here, you've taken an edge off, and you cannot really successfully put a nice even heart shape in the middle because you've taken the edges off. So if you scribe all the lines whilst you've got your square bit of wax or your heart-shaped bit of wax without doming it, you now can file. And then you've got the other line that is this line here, which is this line here. You now can file that off. And down here, you can now file that corner off because you work into these lines that you have originally scribed onto your wax. And then you just got to then just take off the edge, take off that edge, that edge, that edge, and then you've got a nice even curve, and that would be exactly the same on that side, and the curve is now going to go to this area here. Does that make sense? Rather than just go file, 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 and then you file on this side and it isn't quite the same because you haven't got any lines to file to. If you can file to a line, that line is going to be the same all the way around. This line is the same all the way around. You file to the lines, you file downwards, and then you can get a nice even curve on the heart.
Do you know what I love about it though?
What is that?
Is you can use your, well, you can have specific wax files, but most of the equipment you'll probably have already, although it is best to keep them separate, isn't it? Like we've got a wax kit, so we've got like the files and the wax saw,
that back to you before
which is not overly expensive, I don't think, is it?
No.
But the stick of ring wax is £12, I think, for an hour. Is it about that?
Yeah, 6 inch.
So really it doesn't matter if it goes horribly wrong, it's all learning, isn't it? And then you just cut off another piece and try again. So for me, it feels like quite a safe and expensive way to... Inexpensive way to experiment and make something and learn and... Yeah. Because without the limitations of working directly in silver or metal.
Exactly. So what one of our diploma students messaged me and said she loves working with the wax.
Because I bet I know who it is.
Because there was so much length, if they make a mistake,
yeah,
they got another bit. And if they make a mistake, there's another bit. If they got another bit because it's a whole length. It's not like buying a piece of silver for what you need and then make a mistake and you've got to buy another bit of silver and then another bit of silver. The fact that you could take off sections of the wax if you made a mistake or it broke was ideal.
There's so much freedom, isn't it? Because I'm guessing you can build on this as well. You can carve into it. You can build on top of it. You could probably flush set some little stones into it. That would look really sweet. So there's loads you can do.
Absolutely, and it is a whole new form of expression that is easy to create because all you're doing is just carving and just shaping it from a piece. If you want to add something onto it, exactly as you said, you could drip molten wax onto it, you can make little balls that go on the top of it. You said you can make dents, you can make raised bit, you can do so much with it.
You can do like granulation effect, can't you, with, like say, it's
there's so much you
sky's
can do.
the limit.
Yes, and don't forget, if anybody is interested in joining our diploma for 2025, we would love to hear from you. We're about to start the second term with the 2024 intake of students. That's going to be starting next week. It's in 3 terms. It starts in September, ends in around about May or June. If you're interested in starting with us on our diploma program, it starts in September 2025 this year. If you're interested, go to atthebenchacademy.com. You can leave your information there, just leave your name and your email address. It'll go onto our waiting list and we will notify you when it is all live.
Good.
Excellent. Have another question?
I've just put the link to the wax, the Working with Wax workshop as well.
Nice. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, in the chat.
Yes.
Okay. Julia says, looking to get a pen plater. I've seen a battery one from Spa Plating. They also do one with a plug adjustable power source. I've watched your Pepe review from a while ago. Any advice?
I got no more real...
which you're good today, sorry.
I used the Pepe one at the time. It was okay. I've used the Durston one as well. That's okay. I would not get a battery powered one because you really need to have a constant supply, a voltage supply of the correct voltage all the time. If you use a battery, the battery obviously start with a 9 volt. Initially it's 9 volts. As you use it, the power comes out of it is going to be less and less and less. So your plating will not be consistent. I would always get one with a transformer that you can plug into the mains that will deliver a constant supply all the time. Durston ones are great. We've trialed them right at the very, very start and they work very well. Other brands are available as well. You can have rhodium plates, you can have black rhodium, you can have gold plates in 14 karat pink, you can have a 22 karat, you can have 9 karat plating. So yes, they are very, very good, whichever brand you have, but make sure it is not a battery powered, make sure it is a plug-in so you get that constant voltage for every single time you want to use it. Some of these solutions need to be warmed up, some don't, some can be used cold. Get the cold ones and we should be good to go. Yes, Louise.
Good, okay. Kathy says, what is best to use on stones on the Mohs scale lower than pumice, i.e. amber and pearl?
I would make sure that all the filing and the shaping is done before those stones go into place. So if you are setting stones, try and make sure that your claws are the right shape and length beforehand. There is one other way that you could do it, is to get what's called a safety back file, which is a file which is at the section through the file is sort of triangular like that. You have the teeth on this one side and there's no teeth on any other sides. I don't have them here, they're in the other room unfortunately. It's called a safety back file, meaning there is no teeth on the back here, only on the front. The problem being is that the teeth do extend right to the very, very edge. And if you decided to run that file, okay, and here's the teeth here, against your faceted stone, and you were trying to trim a claw that was by here, this edge here has teeth on it and it's going to damage the stone. So what I would advise you to do is to get a buff stick or an oil stone and rub the oil stone on the buff stick against the outside edges, so you're just removing and smoothing the outside edges. So then there are no teeth going to the edge. Make sure that that edge is nice and smooth. That's why an oil stone is really good. You just move the, say that's my oil stone and here is my triangular, it's not, it's round, it's triangular. You just rub the edge up and down the oil stone like that to remove the teeth off the edge. And now you can run your safety back file with no teeth on the edge right next to the claw. You still got to take good care, because don't forget this is steel and perhaps this would be amber. You can then also put something like a masking tape on top of the stone right next to the claw, so the file runs on top of the masking tape and doesn't damage the stone. So that's a good way of protecting the stone. Yes, Louise.
Good. Anthony says, need reassurance. I have a 70 by 80 mil Argentium sheet. I want to attach one end to a 4 mil tube to it. I guess I need to heat the whole piece, just nearly melted the piece. Help.
All right then, so I would...
Are you fusing or are you soldering?
I would have thought soldering.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I think if the tube is Argentium, there's a good chance that's going to collapse.
Yes, yeah. So there's my block. Here's my sheet. I line it all up. This is Argentium, so you've got to make sure that this is flat on the surface. So if you are joining it up to a tube, you would have to join it like this, okay? And then support the Argentium, because if you try to do that, the Argentium is going to slump and it's going to do that, okay? Because Argentium does that. You have to support the whole piece of Argentium across the whole length, across the whole width. The tubing is going to be, I would have thought, smaller in mass than the sheet. So I would be inclined then to perhaps put your little pallions of solder just on the joint here, get the torch here, heating up this area of the sheet, moving it nearer, moving it nearer. This has all been fluxed. You've got your solder here, and then this area has to have a lot more heat than the tube. Heat it, heat it, heat it, heat it. Just dance the flame, bring the flame back. Don't have it too direct, don't have it too hot. And as you bring the flame up, the flame then will come in contact with the tubing, and then hopefully, once you've done that, it'll all solder together. Don't have the flame too close. If you're going to have the flame away, here would be your block, here's your Argentium, here's your tube. The flame would be right back here, okay? So it's just giving a sort of heat in this direction like that. Bring it too close, you're going to be having too much of a localized heat in such a small area. But have it broad like this, and don't forget you can then pull the torch away to reduce the amount of heat going onto the piece. So you can bring the torch closer to get a bit more heat, you can bring the torch back to reduce the heat, but do it in this angle here, so it's heating up this part of the metal, and then bring the torch a bit closer, bring it along, and then the tubing then should solder onto it. But yeah, that's the way I would do it.
Good. Okay.
Good. All done?
Yep. I think, well, no, we've still got questions, I'm sorry, but we've run out of time, I'm afraid.
Oh, yeah.
Gaz, how are you finding the Durston ProLite bench? I like it. It's
the student one?
Yeah, and the folding one in the Shadow. Is that the ProLite?
Always at the ProLite over there.
Oh. The one in the Shadow is the student folding portable bench.
Yes.
And it's great. It folds up. You can slot it away. It's big enough to just, well, it's big, it's got space for everything. Yeah. Obviously there's no drawers, there's no storage. It literally just folds up and goes away. It's stable.
Yeah, it is.
There's plenty of space on it. Yeah.
There's nothing to worry about, is
there? I mean, when I go to change my saw blade, I can't push. Normally, I would push into my bench to tension the blade. Can't do that because obviously the bench is going to move.
Yes.
But then that's because it's a portable bench.
Yes. Just trying to find the ProLite bench on here.
Do you know what I have done though?
What have you done?
Well, you know I've done it because I've done it today. I had a nice advent calendar, and it came in a big box with drawers.
Yes.
So there's 24 drawers, and they're all different sizes. Some are shallow, some are deep, some are big, flat. So I've taken the doors off the advent calendar and I've kept the big box full of drawers. And I'm making little sticky labels to go on the front, and I'm keeping my findings and bits and bobs. And
it's a good idea.
I know.
That's a good idea.
I like being organised. So yeah.
If you're talking
and
about,
it's a really pretty box.
Sorry, if you're talking about the cheaper version of the solid wood benches, it could be that one in the corner there. It's great. It doesn't have.
Is that what I've got downstairs?
No, that's the cheaper version of the one you got downstairs.
Okay. Because
I can't show you because it's in the corner by there. It's a veneered top, so it doesn't have the wearability that yours has downstairs.
Define wearability, because I wreck everything I sit in front of with a torch.
For instance, with this bench here, if I go on the overhead, you can, no, that's not the overhead, that's my close-up. Well, you can see on the close-up. You can see the areas here where we've burned.
And that wasn't me.
No, it wasn't, but we burned there. There's another burn by there. Okay, so
it's inevitable.
It is, that's the thing. But the advantage of this type of bench, which is a solid wood, is that I could remove everything from the top, get a sander, I could sand the top down to remove all the marks, re-oil it.
When have you ever done that, Andrew?
Well, no, I've never done it, but this is what I'm trying to say.
Downstairs, you've never done that.
I've washed it every year. So you can remove the surface from this. What I'm trying to say was that the cheaper workbench has a veneered top, which means you cannot then, once you've marked the top, you cannot smooth the work surface down to the next layer, or just to get rid of the burns and then to refinish it, because you're going to go through the layer of veneer and it's not going to work. So if you are working, and this is going to be your bench for life, get a bench that is completely solid worktop and not veneered. I think the drawers are veneered, the sides are veneered, the top is veneered to reduce the price. It's a brilliant bench, has all the functionality that yours does with the 3 drawers on the right hand side. But it will last you years and years and years. But if you wanted to smooth the surface to get all the burn marks off it, you cannot do it with that.
And if you do that, sand your bench, put it all in the Lemel, I guess.
Yes, exactly. There's silver, there's gold in that worktop, absolutely. So that would be the thing. I love it. It's great. It's a spare bench that we've got, so we don't necessarily use it all the time, but we use these benches all the time, and they're solid tops, solid. And you can strip them down, repolish them whenever Louise wants to do that. She can do.
Dream on.
But that's the versatility of these benches as opposed to the veneered or laminated ones. Yes, absolutely.
Good. Okay.
Excellent. Should we end it there?
I think so. So the £50 off at the bench offer is only on for the next 3 days?
Yes.
So £150 when it's normally £200, and that's for the year, and the renewal price is also
£150.
So basically you're getting the first year's membership for the renewal price.
You are, yes.
And then you'll have access to over 1,700 films, projects, instructional videos, direct help from Andrew on project techniques. If you want to make a bomb ring in heart shape, he can make a film and tell you how to do it, or he can give you direct advice.
Do it.
So yeah, he's not just my helper, he's here for all of us. So yeah, you can contact him directly and he will tell you what to do, how to do it, or if it's too complicated to answer in a ticket, he'll make a film.
Exactly.
You can request workshops, and what else?
You get discounts from major suppliers.
So
our store.
the workshops, the monthly workshops, you're automatically you have access to all of them, which are on at the bench.
Yes.
And you can watch them all live. You do have to sign up, but you can watch them live, and it's included in the cost of your membership, so you don't pay anything extra for the monthly workshops either.
Exactly.
On top of everything else that's already on the At the Bench platform.
And films are being added all the time. So it's atb.yt/150, 150. That'll take you to the checkout page. And as Louise was saying, the workshops that we produce every month, live workshops with all the multi-cameras going on here, are usually £15 each, although those prices are due to rise.
Do you know what I think we'll do?
What is that, Louise? just another one of your ideas?
I was just thinking, if people want to dip their toe in and join for a month for £20 to see what it's like,
Yes.
can they, at the end of that month, I know that we're going to stop the
Right.
I know we're going to stop the offer in 3 days.
Yes.
But if they sign up for a month and then decide they want to have it for the £150, I think.
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Don't be stingy.
No.
Why not?
You can take the £20 off that they spent for a month. Yeah. No?
Oh, okay. No.
So people want to come on for a month.
Kathy says, I so enjoy my membership. Try it for a month. Yeah.
Yeah, try it for a month.
And then if you try it for a month
Contact us.
and you like it,
Contact
us.
Louise, and Louise will work on me. I'm sure she will, to see what we can do.
And we'll see
for
if
you.
we can, try it for a month. Oh, I'm gonna be in trouble later.
We should discuss these things. So,
Whoops.
workshops every month are included in with the price. Currently they're £15. We do roughly 10 of them a year. If you bought every workshop, that's £150, and you've only got access to those workshops that you bought. But if you join At The Bench for £150, you have access to all those workshops and all the past workshops and the 1,700 films, discounts from major suppliers, discounts from us, and so forth, as everything that Louise says. Workshop prices are due to go up later on this year, so they're going to be in the region of £20. So it's got to be worthwhile joining At The Bench for £150. The renewal cost is £150. Most other in-person or online training platforms will charge you the same again. They'll charge you £400 for the first year and £400 for the next year. That's a shame, because you're a loyal customer. So our renewal is £150. Just saying.
Yeah, try it for a month. Contact me. I'll sort you out. Okay. Oh, thank you. Vestasha says, joining At The Bench was the best decision ever, so worth it. Thank you.
Very much indeed.
It would take a lifetime to do all the projects you have in there. Yes, there is absolutely, it's a colossal resource.
It is.
It really, really is. And I don't
there.
think you really appreciate how big the database of films and projects is until you have a little look. Kathy enjoys the membership.
Some of the films are quite old now, and you'll catch
the best
me.
membership ever. Penny says, "Oh, thank you, Penny."
You catch me with less grey and less wrinkles. Some of the very first films that we did 15, 16 years ago, are obviously not as the quality that we've got nowadays, because we had to produce those films for the internet speeds back then. But nowadays they're all done in 1080 and or singing or dancing, multi-cameras. So yeah, there's a lot of films on there. Just go and check them out. Should we finish there, Louise?
Yes.
Good.
Going home for my row now.
You just have to be very nice to me and talk to me very nicely.
Okay.
All right. There's no wine tonight because we're trying to stay off the wine, aren't we?
No, that's right.
Always on a Monday, I feel, it'd be so nice just to have a nice glass of wine.
Nope.
Okay, Louise. Okay. Everyone then, enjoy the rest of your week. Don't forget, the offer's on for only 3 more days. When we finish it, 10th, isn't it? 9th, 10th?
9th, I think we said,
9th.
didn't we?
So yeah, check that out if you want to. Thank you for everyone for joining us today. Thank you for all your kind words. Yeah, 36 likes, 77 people at the moment. Please just tap that like button. Give us some love. We do appreciate it. I'll do that film on the Shank Bender for Jill. We'll do that. Isomars are the templates. You've got your wax carving, all the information from the store. We do sell tools as well at atthebench.store. That's all there for you to look at. So thank you very much, everyone who has placed an order over the holidays. And Louise is going to put all the wax stuff on there as well. Very good.
It's worth a look because it's just, I love it. It's so much fun.
Good. Everyone enjoy the rest of your week. As again, keep an eye out on socials for everything that's happening with us. It's going to be a busy few weeks.
Penny says, have that wine, Andrew. You're a bad influence.
Well, perhaps you have to get me drunk tonight for me to agree. You never know. That might be an idea. So, one thing that we are going to be going to Vicenza, 16th of January. Vicenza in Italy. It's one of the largest jewellery shows in the world. Amazing. We've got a couple of days to walk around the halls to see all the jewellery on display, to see everything that the world has to offer. And then we're also going to be spending 2 days on the Durston tool stand in Tea Gold, which is separate building to the main. We're going to be there on the Durston stand, demonstrating, chatting to people, whatever it's going to be. We're going to be walking around. We're going to be popping to see Brooches as well, because we've got something going on with Brooches. We're going to be going to Bedeco as well. We've got something going on with Bedeco, so we're going to be having a walking around. If you want to come and see us on the Durston stand. I think it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what number the stand is, but
we're a bit limited in what we can film, but we do have your magic glasses now, don't we?
We do. We have my meta glasses. So yeah, we're going to be doing films, we're going to be doing lives from the Vicenza Oro show. We're very limited to what we can film, obviously in the jewellery section, because we tried last year and got told off, but we should be able to film, do some lives. I got those meta glasses, haven't I? You bought me very kindly for Christmas. Use them on holiday, absolutely amazing. So we may do some sneaky filming with them. You never know. See if we can get away with it. You're going to have to hide the light that's on the front to show that I'm recording.
They are cool.
They are cool. So keep an eye on us. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook, and you'll be able to see some behind-the-scenes footage.
Yes, Penny. We'll
from Vicenza. So yeah,
we'll
we'll be there.
Look.
We'll be there for 5 days, and we'll let you know when we're going. Let you know what stand we're going to be on. But in the meantime, everyone have a lovely week. We will see you next Monday for another Q&A. We're going to be working on the workshops. Louise is going to put a list of workshops up. The next one's going to be all about torque bangles. But please do get in contact with Louise at andrewberry.co.uk for some suggestions about what you want to see when it comes to live workshops. On Tromble, I put that to the end. But the first one's going to be torque bangles. So yeah, please do contact Louise. Let us know what we can do. Yeah, I've got my spring.
You've got your spring now, come on.
I've got my spring.
Get on with it.
I've got my spring, my little on Tromble spring. Boing, doing, doing. Like Zebedee, doing, doing, magic roundabout.
Here we are. That's where you can
put
make
Zebedee on a ring. Yeah. All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. Keep in contact with us. We do appreciate it. Louise, say goodbye.
Bye. Carve something in wax. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
It's fun. It's super fun. Do it.
It is.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And then show me what you've done.
Excellent. Everyone, take care. We'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.